we need more analog, man. We need more books. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
like I mean, I love the digital stuff, but I want to make more books. I want to make more tangible things. I want people to, experience my work in a larger scale. Because like I said, I mean, the drawings and stuff, all that stuff on Instagram is fun, but I tell people eventually I want to just do, big shows and like, show people in large scales, in large scale work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's cool to talk to you, man. I know you're just off of doing a project with Vic Mensa, and then you just dropped a bunch of merch in your store. So how's it going?
It's going, man. Thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, it's always something going on.
Yeah, you told
So
me
yeah, it's a lot of.
you're balancing a lot of projects at once. So like, what all you got going on that you can talk about?
I mean, I talk about everything, dude. I haven't signed the NDA in a long time. So yeah, like right now I got some bikes coming out. I designed the decals for a 29 and 26-inch BMX cruisers with this company called Colt Crew.
Yeah,
And that should be coming out next month, man. It's been like a whole year thing. But I designed like the decals, and then we did a comic, like a little comic page that were
yeah,
being printed. I did like 9 pieces of clothing too. I designed out. So yeah, we just did like a full like capsule collection that's coming out next month, man. Um, I'm about to collaborate with Wish and over in Little Five Points, the boutique streetwears. I'm about to do
yeah,
some stuff with them. I've done
yeah.
stuff with them in the past, but this is something that's like I'm about to do that's real big. I'm not gonna say what it is. I'm just gonna let it happen. But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
other than that, I'm just jumping around, man. I got I work with individuals in other areas of art, and I collab with a lot of people like comedians and of course
Yeah,
rappers.
you
That's how I kind of got out there was rappers
yeah, you've done
doing rap
everything.
covers.
I
I'm
mean,
always doing rap covers.
yeah. Well,
You say what?
that's kind of like the bread and. I was going to say you've kind of done everything. I mean, you do the rap covers, and then you just did the cover for Canopy South to Cab issue, which I
Oh
thought
yeah,
was
that was
really
fun,
cool.
man. Man,
Yeah, I
I
bet.
love doing stuff like that because that's where I'm from. I'm from South DeKalb, and like, man, that hit me right there, man. Because and I had fun, and like they paid me really well. Like compared to a lot of like publications in the city, they never pay artists. They paid me actually what I wanted, and like it was cool,
Yeah.
man. Like I said, I
Did
do.
they hit you up, or did you hit? Did they approach you on that one?
They approached me this dude named Floyd, who I've known for some years, just in passing, just partying and stuff. He hit me. Well, he ran into me and told me about it, and I was like, man, I'm with it, man. And he they work with other artists like in the city to do covers and stuff. But I told him I was like, man, the idea popped in my head like right away once he told me about it. I was like, oh, this is what we're doing. And so he like was like, we got in there. But shouts out to him and um, Christina. I don't know her last name. She was like the main facilitator on it. She gave me. They let me do my thing, man. They didn't let me. They didn't tell me I had to do a certain you know way or try to steer me anyway. So it
Is
was
it
cool.
usually like that for you now? Like people just kind of have faith in what it is you do? Because I gotta imagine it's kind of weird asking for permission to do certain things.
No, dude, it depends on who knows me. I'm not really a person who's like gonna yell out like, "Hey, I've done this, this, and this, and this," until you piss me off.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
people do that where like to do what you did. You watching, and it's not hard to look on Instagram. Um, but a lot of people, I get rappers, and rappers managers who ask me to do stuff that's like, hey, you don't know what I do, huh? So
yeah,
but most of the time I talk it through, man. Like I said, I'm extroverted, and I'm not gonna let anybody punk me. And I think like me working with rappers is kind of made me kind of like aggressive in a business mind when it
yeah,
comes to
yeah.
certain
No,
things.
I get it.
So so something like when I work with like people like publications like Canopy, that was like I was like walking through daffodil fields with them, man. I loved it. You know what I mean? It was nothing compared to working with rappers. Rappers in their management, especially if they're signed to like a big label. Dude, it's like war every time we talk on the phone. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like it is like protracted warfare because like the couple times I've dealt with it, there's like multiple people on the line, and like you're like talking through
yeah.
people a lot of the time.
Dude, it's ridiculous, dude. But I mean, like I said, I do rap covers like weekly, man. I get like, I get the underground guys that hit me. I actually like doing stuff with underground rappers more than the big name rappers, because
Why
then
is that?
well, a lot of them are really creative, and that's why they're not signed. These record labels don't want to sign a rapper who's like uberly creative and and
Yeah,
coming up with off the wall stuff for me to. I love that shit, man.
it's
And
kind of funny. It's like the opposite of what T-Pain's putting out there. Like he's like, "What's new?" And then like you're telling me that
yeah,
the new stuff that people are doing is like not the thing.
yeah. I mean, I work with T Pain. I've done a cover with T Pain, and T Pain actually is real creative, man.
Yeah,
I think that he's on like always on the he's always on the edge of trying to be like, I guess, relevant and stay weird. And I'm like, man, just stay weird, man.
yeah, for
You know what
real.
I mean? Like, yeah, a lot of those old rappers go through that, man. I mean, I do. I know a lot of the older rappers, like older Atlanta rappers, and they're all kind of going through that in their mind. I'm like, man, let me just bring back y'all's old stuff, man. That's when it was good. Like, screw
You
the
know what I'm saying?
radio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
screw the
real. I mean,
radio.
it's all screwed up, man. Like the whole distribution pipeline for music and especially rap music is just like it's not what it used to be at all. Like it's not
Hell no,
even a
it's not.
mixtape game anymore.
I know, man. I miss those days, man. I don't even listen to none of that stuff anymore, man. Unless it's like, I can't keep up with it, man. Just being like, I guess I just miss them when it was a little bit more simplistic. But it's a lot of rappers. I will say that, man, because they keep me. I'm not hating on them. The young rappers, they pay me, and I do the covers and I do their merch, and I just did this some
Nice.
cover. I just did some merch for this Canadian rapper named Cadence Weapon. That's his name. And
Cadence
I was like,
Weapon.
yeah. I saw the name. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, I'm doing this. The name alone, and then I heard some of his raps, and it's kind of nerd rap, but I like it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it's nerd rap, but I was like, this is some cool. It's different. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this is nice. And then
yeah.
like, and he kind of just let me do my thing, and I was like, cool. And we did it, and it's done. But like to
So
answer your question, some people do that. They'll come and like give me like over direct me and try to babysit, and I'm like, hey, it's gonna take you longer. Then I'm gonna put you on the back burner. 'Cause I got other stuff I can do that's more fun.
right,
That happens a
it's
lot. That
nice.
happens a lot. I've had people wait for months, man, because they just overly directing me, man, and it's
Yeah,
just
I
not like
got you.
I'll do that when I get to it, man. I'm not tripping on it, and then they'll realize,
So
come back and apologize. So they're like, oh,
yeah, so it's
yeah,
been like 10 years since Mr. Wonderful. Is that right? It's been 10 years, 5 years, 10 years,
9
9 years.
came out in 2000. Nah, no, no, no. It came out. No, no, no. It's 8 years. It came
Okay.
out 2000. It came out in March 2015. I'll never forget. So yeah, it's like it'll be It's 8 years. 8 years already. 8 years already. That shit was fast, man. But I had been
How'd you?
doing, huh?
You have been doing what?
I had been drawing like his lyrics, and then I did like a few covers for him since 2013. So that was like 10 years for that. I did
Did
like the
you?
first cover I did for him was 2014.
Okay. How'd you get linked with him
Yeah, yeah.
initially?
But man, I don't know, dude. I was playing his music a lot because I discovered him on a Damo Genesis. Remember Our Future?
Yeah.
It was the rapper
Yeah, I know
Dom
Damo Genesis.
Genesis had did this. Yeah, Damo Genesis had did this mixtape with Alchemist, and he was featured on
Yeah.
a song, and I thought it was Ghostface, and I said, "Damn, dude, Ghostface is spitting like this," and I was like, "But it don't sound like him." And then I saw it said featuring Action Bronson. I was like, "Who the fuck is Action Bronson?" So then I typed it in on Dat Piff,
Yeah.
the mixtapes, and then I started, and he had like three mixtapes or two mixtapes out of this, or three really. He had an album and he had two mixtapes, which was Well Done and Blue Chips One, and then Rare Chandeliers. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm playing this stuff, and I was into it. I was like, yo, but I like boom bap rap, then I went to New York. I was working up in New York on the show Ink Master because I was working in TV, and then I was bumping that shit every single day. I even like drove to Flushing, Queens, just to see how it was because he was rapping about it so much. I drove in a U-Haul. Me and my brother, we was on like a run on a TV show, but we had like a couple hours to kill. So I was like, man, let's just drive around New York in a U-Haul, and we drove around. We went to we
Y'all
just driving
y'all made
around
a
Queens.
pilgrimage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted to. So I want. I said I'd never seen Flushing, Queens. I wanted to go see where like they shot Men in Black and all that. I wanted to go
Yeah.
see all that. And so yeah, we drove up there and saw it. And then yeah, and so what happened was I started drawing his lyrics because I ain't gonna lie, when that was around the time where I was just working, and I was just doodling, but I really wasn't like. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I had a lot of concepts, but I was scared to put them out on a painting. That's what I thought I
Yeah.
was supposed to be doing because that's what I went to school for. I was like, man, I'm gonna just start drawing it. I started doodling. Well, you know what? I had got fired on Ink Master. I got fired as a PA because I was a horrible PA, and then I got picked up
Oh
as a
shit.
wrangler. And as a wrangler, I was a good wrangler because I talked so much. But downtime or while I was shooting, I built me a desk, and I just started sitting there drawing like characters and like drawing people and making fun of people in the office. And then I started kind of. I bet at the same time I was listening to Action Bronson, and I was like, okay. And I started kind of like drawing his lyrics, and I said, man, I can draw his lyrics to the T because they're so vivid. And then I started posting them shits on Instagram and tag. Well, no, we couldn't tag back then. I don't know how he was seeing. I was just putting his name there. He didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
followers back then. I think this is back when he was like, this is back when I think he had like maybe like 40,000 followers or less. Like it was ridiculously low.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, like he didn't. I mean, this is back in like Instagram didn't even, you couldn't DM nobody. You know what I mean? It wasn't no DMs or nothing. And so he just started
Exactly.
posting it. Like he just
Yeah.
started reposting the shit I was drawing, and I was doing something like every other day. And
That's what's
then
up.
it's funny because he got signed to Shady Records, right?
Yeah.
And the manager that he had got appointed named Pedro had discovered me on Instagram, right? And found and hit me to do a cover for Eminem, like a Christmas album cover in 2013.
Yeah.
Can't remember, man. But yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, but that never saw the light of day. And so, but then that's when Bronson signed with him after that. And so he told Bronson, like, yo, I got this dude. I just had to do this cover for Eminem. I think he would mesh well with you. He didn't even know I was drawing his lyrics already. I say he
Oh
is Pedro.
shit.
He didn't know. And so then Bronson was like, I know that kid, dude. He's been drawing my shit for like a year. And okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then I think we finally talked on the phone, like a 30-minute conversation. And then we kind of hit it off on the phone. And then I did acting crazy, the cover for Acting Crazy. And at the time, I was still working TV, but I also worked at this coffee house, right? And
Yeah.
my homie Tyler used to drop off Vice magazines at different coffee houses and like little eateries and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he came in, dropped them off to the coffee house. It was free. And then he was like, dude, and he opened it up. He opened up to the back page, and there go my cover I just did like a week before. And
Nice.
like I didn't even get paid yet for this shit, and then like it was already in Vice because he had signed the Vice. So I was like, damn, dude, my shit's right here. I'm sitting here working in this shit house, and man, I think I worked for like another. Well, you know what it was? I got serious on business. I was like, okay. So I called Pedro back, and he offered me to do like 5 more covers, and then do the cover for Mr. Wonderful. And I ain't gonna lie, man, it wasn't that much money, but it was enough for me to walk away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From working.
Yeah.
Cause my rent at the time was like 600. I just said fuck it, I'm out. I was already kind of
Dude.
saving money, so yeah, I
Yeah.
quit the coffee house. I did a no call no show, and then the show I was working on, they fired me anyway. I just never got picked up to day play on the show, and that was it. I was like, okay, this is it. I'm in now.
Man, that's a lot of confidence, man.
Yeah, but you know what else happened, man? I had got like the very following month, man. I had got commissioned. Man, my dumb ass didn't even know. But Wyden and Kennedy, that's the advertising agency for Nike and
Yeah.
Sprite. They had hit me up. They had hit me up and was like, They wanted me to work on this campaign, and man, the money was ridiculous. Like it was ridiculous. And what happened was, and I ended up the team I was working with ended up dropping the ball because they're real competitive. Those teams, Hawaii and Kennedy, either you working for Sprite or you working for Nike, but some of the shit will mesh together, and that's what happened. And the Sprite team ended up stealing the idea that we had came up with, but they ended up giving me a nice kill fee, man, and
Oh yeah.
it was way more than what Atlantic had just paid me. I was sitting on some money, man, like in a matter of like a month. I was like, oh shit, and
So
then
so
it just started from there. I ain't gonna lie, like I've been working constantly since then. That was 9 years
yeah,
ago.
yeah. Yeah, so like just kind of give me a rundown of what your day is like, because we talked a little bit before the pod, and I know you got a couple young kids, and then you're
Yeah.
just constantly working on projects. So like, how are you balancing it all? What do you use any like time saving apps or anything like that?
Oh hell no, dude! I don't. I'm not really that tech at all. I just got an iPhone, man, for the first time in October. Like,
Wow.
yeah, I didn't even have an iPhone for years. People used to make fun of me. Um, no, I mean, I kind of base. I don't really have a schedule or nothing like that because I'm always working on different things, and different things
Yeah.
take different time, man. I will say this: I try to spend, or I spend a lot of time with my family. I'm not one of those artists that tries to shut himself off from my kids and stuff.
Yeah.
But I work so fast that it's not that I'm rushing, but a lot of the time, like I'm inspired to, like, finish up stuff so I can get out and play baseball with them, or just do family things. And I don't, I'm not really like, I don't know how I'm keeping up with work, but I'm keeping up because I'll get like these spurts where I can knock out like 3 projects in a day. It's weird, but then sometimes it'll take me like hours just to draw a sketch, bro. It's weird, but it
Yeah.
depends. Yeah, it depends, man. It depends on what it is, man. It's project based, like I said. Like right now, I got what 10 projects I'm working on, right?
Oh
And
God. All
one
right.
of them, one of them is something I don't want to do, but I already sketched it out, so I'm
Yeah.
already kind of done with it. Like once it's done, once it's sketched, so now I'm kind of like, okay, I can finish everything else within like the next 5 days if I just burn through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But right, like I haven't been doing my personal work. I haven't been like doing my comics and stuff, but that's fine, man. Like I said, I just moved into a new house, but yeah, it's
Nice.
mostly a lot of chaos. It's a lot of chaos, but we gotta get it down to minimum. But I won't. I did raise my price, so I don't have. I'm not doing like a bunch of dumb shit like I used to. I gotta raise
Yeah.
my prices. And yeah, because I'm not local as much as I used to be either. Because as a local artist, I'm not doing a lot of in town jobs like I used to, like club flyers and shit like that for $200. I stopped doing that stuff because
I
it just
got
it
you.
just it just it don't go nowhere. Yeah, like I
So
stopped doing a lot of that stuff.
so like, are you still doing it by hand and then scanning it for everything?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm actually going backwards. About to start. You know what? I'm about to well, hold on. Tomorrow, I'm going to go buy new markers, and I'm about to actually start doing marker more than digital.
Okay.
So I'm about to start doing more marker than digital. I have, but I use Crayola sometimes. But I had like these markers I had got from what was it, binders, and
Yeah.
I gave them to my older brother who's also an illustrator, and but I'm gonna go get. They're like $40 for all of them. I'm gonna go get that because I miss them, man. I used them, and I found like some old drawings I had did in my folders. I said, "Damn, this shit is fire." So I was like, I'm about to go
Dude,
backwards, man. Because like I said, I went to school for painting and sculpture, so
yeah.
I learned values and tones and elements and principles of art and all that, man. So I don't have to use the computer if I don't want. I use the computer because it's somewhat of a cheat code for doing, of course, merch and stuff. But
Yeah.
if I'm drawing stuff like illustration, I don't have to do all. I'm going back to markers, man, and just scanning it, scanning it in. But I barely manipulate stuff on the computer, man. Like I use an old
Mm.
HP from 2000 and when I get that HP, 2015? No,
Okay. That's
2006.
that's
I bought. Man, look, my laptop is from 2016. So I'm
Jeez,
not,
that's like a
and
hundred years, and
I use an HP scanner from 2012, I think. You might have seen it. It's like 2012. Yeah, I keep everything low tech.
Yeah, it's
So
cool. Does
yeah,
it?
it
Do you
keeps
ever
it.
run into problems with like printers and stuff when they're like when they're taking your scan, trying to separate it and stuff? You got any like what are some of the tricks
Man,
you learned?
me personally, no. That's the thing. Like you guys have Danger Press has printed my shit before.
Yeah,
I ran into other people kidding me like, hey man, I can't do it, man. I'm like, look,
yeah,
nah, I use yeah. I'm nobody. That's never happened to me personally ever.
okay,
Never. I don't know. Maybe they just do it for me and they don't. I don't know. I know the
I don't
process,
know.
but I'm like, I mean, how the fuck did you print this stuff in back in the day? Like, it doesn't have to be that. But
Yeah,
I'm a guy. I'm a process guy, so I understand. Like, yeah, I don't have to have shit perfect either when prints,
right.
like on shirts and stuff. I'm like, I understand. It's got to be. This shit comes from the earth, man. It's dye.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
That's
it's
it.
not supposed to be. Yeah, I'm not one of those people that's like that. I'm not
So
tripping on it.
so like did you start doing comics before the merch, or how did that progression work? Like where were you starting to like focus on your brand and focus on like your voice as an artist and kind of let that style guide you professionally? Oh shit. Where you go? Oh, I can see you, but I can't hear you. Hold on. Nah, hold on. Hold on one sec. It's all good. Let me. I think I just resumed the recording, so we're good. No, but what I was asking about is like, take me back to where you were when you were starting to build your personal brand as an artist, and you were like, were you doing the comics first and the merch, or what came first? And like, what were some of the obstacles that you ran into early in the early days?
Man, I was doing. I mean, I kind of was doing comics as a kid all the time. I just didn't take it that serious.
Yeah,
Um, I grew up reading comics and stuff, and reading like a bunch of underground comics and shit. But I mean, the merch. I mean, I was mentored by Chilio. You know what that is?
no, who is that?
He's the guy who like made like ATLian shirts and stuff. He's been like
Okay,
making shirts for a long. He's been making like merch and shirts for a long time. But I was mentored by him when I was right when I turned like right before I turned 17. I met him. He's the one that kind of got me into it. I was working at a urban wear store called Man Alive, and I was working at South DeKalb Mall, North Lake Mall, and Lenox sometimes. I kind of was
yeah,
like always in the clothes and like pretty much t-shirts and stuff like that. And then of course like with me like having like a BMX and skateboarding background, kind of always was just in the graphic tees. So I jumped into that shit around like 2008. You know what I mean? But I was
yeah,
making stuff in high school. I used to make puff paint shirts. I still do, but I used to make like puff paint shirts in high school and stuff, and like just give them
yeah.
to homies. If you was kind of like if you knew you knew. But most of the time, man, it just was like me wanting to wear shit, man. I wanted to wear my stuff on my shirts. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like clothing plays kind of a big role in your illustration itself. Like you do a lot of stuff iterating on like Nike and Adidas and stuff like that. So like
yeah.
what is the what is the significance of streetwear to you and your style?
Dude, I think it's got a lot of significance because like when I was younger, I paid attention to all the brands and stuff like before a lot of kids were doing that. And it's only because I was the youngest brother, and so I used to watch my older brothers wear shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Me paying close attention to detail, and then being into hip hop. Of course, I'm naturally gonna be into like you know style. You know what I mean? And like
yeah, yeah,
the latest of gear. But then some gear that like I was into was mixed with just I ain't gonna lie, pop culture, just watching stuff, man. I wasn't a kid. My mom let me watch every damn thing. You know how kids couldn't watch stuff. I watched everything, and
Mm.
so I was exposed to this stuff really early. And my brothers, they was watching MTV. I was watching MTV. You know what I mean? I was
Yeah, yeah,
watching BET, all that stuff. So I kind of like I mixed the cultures of having like being in art and then being in like into different styles and just it just molded and mixed together in a way where it made sense. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
then
but that's huh?
oh, sorry, I'll go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like it came natural for me to do t-shirts and like draw shit because I kind of remember. I remember like Freaknik shirts and I remember like Dada and a bunch of like old Mecca shirts that had like illustrations on it and
Yeah,
and I used to wear all that stuff, man. And even the Looney Tune shirts that they made, all the bootlegger stuff that used
I
to be
remember
made
that.
in the '90s. I used to wear all that stuff and like was all into it. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah.
that's built on that shit, built on that kind of culture, like the bootleg culture. You know what I mean?
So were you managing your own like merch production at first? Like um I went back a while and like on your Twitter it like you had your tweets and then it started popping up with like merch here and there. So what were you doing to like hustle it all together at the beginning?
I mean, when I was in the beginning, I was in college. I was in DC,
Yeah,
so I used to just kind of hang, and I hung around like Stussy, the Stussy store. It was called
yeah,
Common. I hung around this skateboard shop called Palace Five, and then when
yeah. I know.
I was back here, I hung around Little 5 Points, hung around Stratosphere, hung around Wish, I hung around the shop used to be called Vinny Style. I hung around where I wanted to be at and where I wanted people to see it, and I used to just give people samples of things. You know what I mean? When I first started out, and then I just was just print. I was getting it printed where I could and when I could, and getting embroidered randomly.
It seems like at some point
I mean, like
yeah. Hold
like
on, you
getting the picture,
my
taking
bad. You
pictures,
broke out for
posting
a
it.
second.
Oh yeah, man. I was saying, my whole thing was just trying to get a picture of the piece. So I
Yeah.
did low runs. I learned my lesson. I did a run of like 50 on like some tank tops, man, and I literally gave them away. But it was
Mm,
cool, man. It was cool because like people was like, oh man, seeing like that stuff on there. Because a lot of people
yeah.
didn't know I was even doing art. I was an artist because I was just always in the streets riding a bike or something. So I wouldn't. I mean,
Mm.
I don't still don't walk around telling people I'm an artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
It's
weird.
like I'm just. It is weird. It's weird. Whatever. I'm talking.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just.
like for you, I gotta imagine it's like at least like I see your work and I can automatically associate it with you. Like it's not always that way for a lot of artists. So it's like when did you start focusing? I imagine like you can draw on a lot of different styles than you actually experiment
Yeah.
with. Is that
Yeah.
true?
That's very true. Yeah. I'm tell you the truth. Like I went to school off of hyperrealism. That's how I got my full scholarship to Howard because I went to school because I brought like my portfolio was 16 slides. Everybody remembers that 16
Yeah.
slides. And that I got into SCAD with this portfolio. I got into Rocky Mountain School of Art. I got into a bunch of art schools that had no clue that I was going to be able to get into with my portfolio I was sending out. I had an art teacher who she really hated me, but she helped me for some reason. she
It
couldn't. She
works like that sometimes.
Yeah. She didn't want me to do it. I don't know why she did it. I think she did it just to see. But I think she thought I was gonna fail on because, she just she had some issues. But she made a bunch of copies of all my slides and like sent them out for
Oh
me.
no.
Yeah, she was sending them out for
She's like Professor Snape or something, man.
man. Look, man, I got into Cooper Union and Cooper Union was free at the time, and
Wow.
like I didn't know that. She didn't. I mean, I didn't know what the fuck Cooper Union was in New York. I was like, okay. And then like I didn't go and then like I tell people now they was like, dude, you got accepted to Cooper Union? I was like, yeah. And I went to Howard.
Nothing
But
wrong with that.
I didn't give a fuck about being around artists. I really honestly hated artists. I hated being
Yeah.
around kind of artsy kids and shit. I hated those kids, man. I hated those kids with a passion. I didn't want to be
Why do
around
you
them, man. So,
why
huh?
did you hate him? Why do you think you hated him?
I don't want to talk art.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I don't
Like
want
you
to talk
told
art.
me
I
you'd
mean,
rather talk about baseball or football or something.
yeah, yeah, I'd talk about everything else but art, man. Let's talk about something else. I didn't want to talk about that kind of shit. And like, I didn't like, I didn't like artist kids, man. They kind of, they just, I didn't get along with them half the time. But
So
like
do you like
huh?
I was gonna say, so do you like goading a reaction out of the art crowd? Because like a lot of like it's you've talked about this before, but your art is kind of confrontational. It's a little rebellious or whatever. So like when you were younger, were you using it to to
Yeah,
start shit?
yeah, definitely, I did. That's why my teacher couldn't stand me because she I didn't know what the word prolific meant, man, and she told my dad. She was like, he's prolific, but it's just a problem. He's gonna cause more problems. He's
Yeah,
goddamn it prolific. I was like, what is that? I don't even understand what that means. And like, I honestly didn't know what the fuck prolific means until like years later. I just never looked it up. I was like, oh,
it's
what
a
the
hell
hell?
of a compliment.
Yeah, but she just was like, but he's gonna get in trouble. She was like telling my dad that he's like he can't
Yeah,
keep doing stuff because like my last year in high school, man, I went crazy because I stopped playing football and like I had a concussion and after the
yeah.
concussion, dude, my brain did something. And I just started. I literally was like a explosion went off in my head. And I just started creating crazy a bunch of shit. It's constant. You know what I mean?
That's
And
wild.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I ain't gonna lie, like my portfolio all came from my senior year in high school.
Huh.
Like the first semester, I was on one, but I did a lot of hyper realism. It was like everything was original too, no copying. But it was
Yeah.
all like crazy gradients and shades I was doing, and I still can do that shit now. I just don't because I mean I want
What?
to sometimes, but I do. I ain't gonna lie, I did some shit a couple years ago and was fucking with people, and they was like, "Yo, who drew this?" So I did, but like it's just that shit is. I don't know. Some stuff is just in my past. I just don't do it, man. I get I
Wow.
get I get pumped up when I'm like able to ink stuff with a brush tip and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't.
I've heard you talk about like how you were doing acrylic paintings with one brush for everything, and that
I
was
still
just
do that.
the
I
vibe.
actually
Yeah.
I don't. Dude, I did a demo. I did a demo a couple weeks ago, and I painted in Ponce City Market, and I painted
Yeah.
and like people was freaking out because they were like, "Yo, you use one brush the whole time." I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm not I'm not changing my water. My water looks like fucking shit, and like I'm not. I keep the same water, same brush. I have no clue why I do that, but I've been doing that forever, and that shit used to drive my professors crazy at Howard. They're like, "Why are you doing this?" But god damn, you make it work. I'm like, I don't know. I like just keeping one brush. I do one
It
brush.
it definitely gives you it's a vibe and unto itself. Like there's something very like punk rock about it or something. Like I can't
Yeah,
describe it, but
yeah, I'm just a punk, bro. That's all it is.
that's what it is.
You just said it. It's the culture of just I'm punk. I have a punkish culture about me, but like you know, like I said, I don't like talking about it because it's kind of like the technicalities of art just kind of bore me when it comes to like talking about if you use one brush or not. I'm not going to volunteer that. You just said it. I didn't say it.
Right.
I'm not
Well,
going to talk about it like
the thing I was wondering is like, your when you do your work, I was curious if people like stop you or ever talk to you about it and be like they bring it up like that you offended them or something or like because
that.
it's political, but it's like street politics. It's not you're not like writing about like it's not you're not covering Congress people. You're covering like Drake and Kanye and that
I've done,
vibe.
I've
So
done political stuff before. I made fun of Trump and Biden, called them predators. I did a drawing. I got an illustration during the last presidential election that they rubbed some people the wrong way. But I
yeah.
mean, I honestly, I've never had anybody approach me physically ever.
Mm.
But I get DMs and
I hope
stuff.
not.
I get DMs and stuff about things, but I never had
What
nobody
did
run
they
up.
tell you? What do they tell you, man? Like, what the heck? Are you getting like death threats and stuff like
It's,
that?
it's usually people who don't follow me at all
Yeah,
that'll come. It's just you know how the internet people are. But the thing is, like, I was on Tumblr back in the day, real heavy, and like, I was posting wild shit on Tumblr, man. All that stuff is you can't even see that stuff anymore because Tumblr turned into
yeah,
fucking created Disney, and you can't look at none of that stuff on Tumblr no more. But most of man, I it's the internet. I've been on the internet for a long time, so it's like I kind of don't see it as a problem. I say stuff all the time. I realize I can't say shit in comments no more because people get offended. I'm like,
yeah,
damn. But it doesn't bother me. But you know what, man? I want people to know I make the artwork for myself. I'm not making it to do anything to you. I do it
yeah.
because I chuckle to myself when I'm drawing a lot of this stuff, and because of that, that's why I do it. I don't really do it to, you can tell when artists are doing shit just to piss people off. It's
Mm,
corny, but
yeah.
I'm just drawing it because hey, that shit popped in my head and that shit's funny to me. But
Yeah,
I got a dark sense of humor.
I was looking at the one where it was like traumatized by Kanye West Anonymous or something like
Yeah, I
that.
love that shit, dude. Dude, I
I'm
was
like,
man, Kid Cudi fans were hitting me up in my
yeah.
DM. They were like, "You did Cudi dirty." I'm like, "That's how
Oh
he
my
looks.
goodness.
That's how that fool looks."
I thought that was mild compared to the Her Loss shirt that you did, man, with 21 Savage looking up and then on the back it's got Drake pulling off the mask. I was like, oh shit.
I love that shit. I love making fun of Drake. I met Drake when I was 20 years old, and
Yeah,
and yeah, dude, I love Drake. I love his music. I love him. He knows I do that shit. He knows about it. You know what I mean? And but it's
that's
funny
what's
making
up.
fun of. It's too easy,
Yeah,
It's too
yeah.
easy. Yeah, I love
He
making fun of him. Yeah, it's
he's
funny.
he's like a world unto himself and just memes alone. So you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he
Like,
knows you like. Yeah, it's funny because he rapped about like how he didn't like the memes and shit. But I was like, this shit is too good though, man. He knows
so
he
do you
knows how he is.
so do you think the attitude of your art is an Atlanta thing? Like I don't know. There's something about looking at your stuff is like I'm from Gwinnett, so I'm not technically an Atlanta native, but like looking at your work, there's something about it. It is quintessentially Atlanta in a
Yeah,
way. And I don't. How would you describe it?
I mean, I would say that because if I stayed in DC, if I never came home, like I don't know if I would have got caught up in. I don't know, man. The style comes from me being in. I don't know. I kind of think about this sometimes. If I would have been in New York or Atlanta, I think if I would have been doing artwork in New York, it would have just been flat out dark. It wouldn't have the humor. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Atlanta has humor in it. Like funny shit happens, just like on the show. Like on Donald
yeah,
Glover's
yeah.
show. It's like it's funny and it's everything. Everything is in it. Every emotion goes through the city, and I'm sure it's like that in New York. New York's just sometimes lonely, boring, and sad. But like
Yeah,
this city is,
you keep it lighthearted in a way. Like it's dark, but it's not
yeah,
like
it's not
depressing.
gonna hurt you. Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah,
Atlanta, and I think that's Atlanta. Atlanta's kind of like Atlanta has manners, but then then bad things will happen to you too at the same time.
yeah. How do you think is oh shit. Hey, uh your audio's out again. You want to try and rejoin real quick? Uh I'm not getting it. Hold on. Hold on. I got you now. I just had to
All right, cool.
press a button real quick.
Yeah, somebody called me, man.
Oh, you're good.
Nah, man, the shit wouldn't be looking like this if I wasn't here though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
Do you
But at the
associate
same
any of
time,
that?
huh?
But at the same time, what?
I'm inspired, man, because like have you ever heard of the artist Romare Bearden?
No.
He's like he was around during like the Harlem Renaissance. And a lot of
Okay.
people like if you don't know his story, like he started painting. Well, he does collages and paintings. He did back in like I guess the '60s. I guess I don't know. I guess it was '50s, '60s. But
Okay.
he grew up like right outside of Charlotte, he moved to, and then he moved to Pittsburgh, right? So when he moved to Pittsburgh, like he has a whole series of paintings where he lived in Pittsburgh for years with his aunt. You know what I'm saying? And was just like he was
Yeah.
young, but like his Pittsburgh shit is just blue collar, it's dark. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
mostly like, artwork based on everyday life for everybody. It's black, everybody's in there. White, black, everybody. But
Yeah.
then he moved to Harlem, and then he was a part of the Harlem Renaissance, and that's a lot of people know his work from that. But I was really intrigued when he lived in because he went from the south to the north, and it's like he went from painting flowers and trees to like, you know, factories and shit, blue collar stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I kind of like even if I was to move from here, I would flow with where I'm going. You know what I mean? Just because it's like honest artwork to where I'm at. You know what I mean? And of course
Yeah.
I do a lot. I'm covering like a lot of shit from pop culture. But even as I get older, like I could compare myself to not comparing myself, but I could see myself becoming like how Art Crumb became like. If you look at his work now and he's like 75, it's totally different. You know what I mean? Because it's where
Yeah.
he's at. He lives in I think he lives in France or some shit like that now. You know what I mean? You could tell he lives in. You could tell he hasn't been in the U.S. in a long time. You know what I mean?
What do you think? What do you think it is that like makes his art not look American?
No, it's not even that it's American. It's just it doesn't have like the. He doesn't have the set. He's lost a lot of the satirical shit because he's getting older, and then
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He focuses more on portraits now of people.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I could like I'm kind of feeling myself like losing a lot of the looniness I have.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because like it's time for me to like start doing other things. You know what I mean? I still got comics and stuff I need to draw, but as far as like I don't fucking with Drake and all that stuff, it eventually come to an end. It's like
One way or
I'm not.
another.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not really. I'm not really like. My interests are changing. That's all.
Yeah.
That's
So
what happens with artists.
with someone like Ramirez, that's someone like uh your art teacher Arthur Parks put you on to, or
No, no,
where's that?
I got. Well, yeah, you know what? Arthur Parks definitely put me on to a lot of shit, man. Um, I mean, I want to see Arthur Parks. He's still alive. I gotta find him.
Mm,
But yeah, I got put on, man. People like Arthur Parks. People like what was her name? This woman named Miss Valaire. She's gone now, but she had this art program in DeKalb County for artists, for young artists, man. And we used to show at the Art Center downtown Stone Mountain. Um, and we learned art, and we also had to learn art history and stuff. So, people like that, man, they shaped me like to be a studious artist, to be into
yeah.
stuff. That's how I was able to go to college and shit, man, because I was very studious and had a lot of respect and had scholarship in art. You know what I mean? But that's what I say. I don't like talk. I'll talk that kind of shit all day. I love that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But new stuff I don't talk about. You know what I mean? It's like it's just the interest is always going to be there for me because that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
I will say this: my childhood best friend, man, his dad was a framer, and so I used to
Okay.
see a lot of black artists, like prominent black artists, like what was his name, dude? I forgot. But he used to frame a lot of art during the boom of like the '90s of black art. You know what I mean? In the
Yeah.
city,
Yeah.
he was like the premier framer, and he
Mm,
taught me how to like cut the frames. He had the whole shebang in the basement. I used to go
nice.
over there. I used to go over there and like make and frame stuff, and then he framed my work. You know what I mean? So like I had to, I ain't gonna lie, I had some privilege because I knew people like that. But I will give it to my mom because she was a person who kind of like she saw me going in a direction. She made sure I did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, that's how I kind of am with my kids, man. Like if my kids are into it, I'm like, okay, let's go do it. I'm not gonna like say I don't have any money. If I don't have any money, I'm gonna make the money somehow, and we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's how my mom raised me. And I didn't know we was poor, for a long
Yeah.
time. And then
I get that.
yeah, because she didn't say it. She never
Right.
said we were poor when we were when we didn't have no money. I didn't know it. I really didn't. And I think that was a beautiful thing that she never really broke down on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She just
I
kept
will.
putting me in camps and art camps and shit.
Well, it's like you must have turned out all right, man. Because I mean, you just did that thing with the Adamsville school where you went in and spent some time with them and stuff.
Oh
So it's
yeah, I
like,
mean that my mom's a teacher, man. So I went over there, man. Shout out to my boy Ben. He teaches over there, and it's a charter school. And I'm a product of going to a charter school. I went to this. It's not around anymore. It only lasted like 2 years. I went to Stone Mountain Charter School. That was on Memorial Drive.
okay,
Back in the day, I went there for a year. But man, I got passion for the kids, man. My mom's a teacher. My grandmother was a teacher. Um, I still hold a lot of my childhood dear to my heart, which I think a lot of artists do. They don't
yeah,
talk about it. I don't say a lot of artists, a lot of people do. But then some people
yeah,
like to get rid of it because they had trauma, and we all had trauma. But man, artists, artists, kids that are artists, man, they use their art to get out of their trauma. You know what I
mm.
mean? So I kind of,
Yeah.
I
You
kind of
were you
relate.
were creating stuff. You weren't like breaking it down.
Yeah, man, I was constantly creating, man. I mean, it wasn't even just drawing and painting, dude. I used to. My mom let me build like dirt jumps in the backyard. I mean, like our backyard wasn't even that big, but like when I first got into BMX, I was crazy. I watched X Games, and then I watched like this dude named Nate Wessel who used to build the ramps, and like he
Yeah,
had it to go. And then my mom bought the fucking VHS of how to build dirt jumps.
nice.
And I used to watch VHS every morning and go out there and try to do it with a wheelbarrow. And I didn't know that you had to go buy the dirt. So I'm digging the dirt. I hit our water line and shit. I'm digging like 5 feet into the damn ground trying to get
Holy
dirt.
shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was man. That's creative to me though. That's why I was just my mom just
Yeah,
was shaking her head, but like, okay, do it.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
it. And, I just I was that kind of kid, man. I built shit constantly. Every day I had a mission, man. And then in between time, I was a kid. Went fishing. I played pickup football, baseball, basketball on the street. But that's why I kind of relate to kids so much because I still have that very, very close in my memory.
Yeah, and you got like this you have this sort of freedom in what you do where it doesn't feel filtered, you know what I mean? And there's something like as a kid you love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I never left being a kid. I guess
Yeah,
I never grew up on the sense of like the the forcefulness of growing up. Oh, you got to do this. I didn't do that. I didn't grow up like that. So it just was like it was natural. But yeah, that's why the kids. That's why I'm like I hold kids when I run into kids. And I run into kids a lot, man. I'm coaching t-ball and baseball right now. But I just hold
yeah,
kids like higher than adults. I hold them up higher. You know what I mean? I got way more
yeah, of
respect for them.
course.
I got love and respect for them. I know they're gonna be something. That's why they're here. And like it just reminds me of myself a lot when I was a kid.
Do you think what do you notice is changing about Atlanta since you were a kid to today? Like the last few years alone have been really crazy for everyone with the
Yeah,
pandemic. What are
man.
the things?
I say this to my wife all the time. When we were growing up here, a lot of stuff was geared toward us, our generation. Like I'm 34, man. It seemed like it was way more things to do for kids in the
Yeah,
90s. You know what I mean? Like even a Hawks game. We went to a Hawks game 2 weeks ago. That shit was like a nightclub.
mm,
When I was in the 90s, the Hawks game was all about kids. Like
yeah.
now, it's like everybody's got hookah and everything. It's like what the fuck is everything's a nightclub now, man.
It's kind of like
But every
Vegas or something. I don't know how to describe it. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, am I tripping I mean, maybe I just didn't see it as a kid, but like,
mm,
man, like I had a beautiful childhood here in the city, man. Like growing up in the cab, and like my mom, like we just did everything, man, and like and a lot of it was kid driven, man. I did a lot of stuff, but even with adults, like I don't know, maybe it just was maybe it was my childhood, man. But like I had a blast, man, as a kid here. You know, what
what
I
were
mean,
some of
we
the,
like these kids don't have,
yeah.
huh?
Uh, what were
You said what?
like, sorry, what are some of the things that you did as a kid that aren't around anymore in Atlanta? Like I would go to Sparkle's
What was it called? We had the we had the And we had that science museum, side trek, and we had
Utrecht or whatever that's called.
no, we had no. We had was it side tech?
Okay.
It's a Publix where yeah, we used to be in there heavy. Um, it was more I don't know, man. We had arcades and stuff in the malls. Like we had a lot
Yeah.
more. I mean, like I said, the sporting events was geared toward kids. I mean, the
Mm,
Braves still kind of got that, but like, I mean, we was it was everything was for kids, you know.
yeah.
Going on kid didn't know. But we had, I mean, it was every single day, every single day. It wasn't just a hassle. But I will say this: I think the cost of living is so goddamn high now, and it's only 24 hours in a day that like people are so stressed out that they can't do shit for their kids. You know what I mean? Like our
Yeah.
generation, like they're not doing as much. You know, I have the and it's good. I have the freedom to do what I want to do with my kids. But I'm looking at a lot of my peers who have kids and like they only spending like 2 hours a day with their kids. You know, they're sending their kids to daycare or school, and then they're working all damn day just to get by. And it's like it sucks, but that's what America's becoming. And it's like cost of living's high. Can't do shit. You know,
Yeah. Just stay in
can't.
the
There's no
house.
recreation. Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
There's barely any recreation. You know, you don't have no time for the arts you don't have no time for the arts and have no time for doing like doing a lot of things that we did in the '90s. I mean, shit was cheap back then. You know.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like just in the last 5 years, how drastic everything has changed.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard being a. I can only imagine like being a parent that like has to rely on, getting paid every 2 weeks. I can't. I was. I can't. I'm not. And I'm like, yo, I'm privileged to be able to be an artist and like, get paid daily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, kind of like, create my work a lot of the time, man, because I never know when something's gonna hit. 'Cause I'm in all these cultures. It's funny because everybody's watching the NBA playoffs,
Yeah.
just waiting on me to draw shit. I'm like, yo, I'm not drawing shit till we get to the finals. That's when I'll do my final shirt. My final shirts. But like people are like, oh, I'm waiting on some shit to happen so we can get a shirt from you. I'm like, you want something bad to happen to LeBron so I can make fun of LeBron? And
That's
like,
fucked
yeah,
up.
yeah. But people, I mean, it's I'm the newspaper now. I'm like, damn.
There's something about that, man. That's exactly what it feels like looking at your stuff. I feel like I'm reading like
It's
a
a
pictograph of current events.
it's a word for it. It's a not a it's a ofer word. I forgot the name of it. Somebody who like kind of like just like dabbles in only in current events. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? An artist or like I'm only it's current events mixed with like just culture. So I read stuff and I find it funny. I don't mess with some people's stuff no more. But like it's just
I was gonna
some,
say, like, how do you decide when something is like that's like it's too on the edge? Like, you're really smart about like what you'll comment on and what you won't.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes some stuff I leave alone because I know people are suicidal. I leave some people alone, man. Yeah, yeah. Some stuff I leave alone. I ain't gonna lie. If it tickles my fancy enough, I'm doing it. It's all about if I want to do it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not doing it for no one
Yeah,
else. Yeah, but
yeah.
I had an idea to do something, but man, I know the guy, and it was making fun of somebody who's become a figure, and I was like, this dude will unalive himself if I draw this shit. I'm not doing
That's a
it.
lot of power, man.
Yeah, man, I'm realizing that. I didn't realize how much power it was I had, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm seeing it now, and it's like, damn, dude, I really can fuck people up with this shit. I need to
So,
stop.
like, if your kids ever get an interest in following after your footsteps, and like your wife does art too, isn't that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
do y'all plan on like teaching them
No,
what you
I
do?
mean, yeah, I'm kind of like slowly. My oldest son, he's full on artist, man. But
Mm,
he's more so just an interesting person that
yeah,
like I'm not trying to make him or steer him into doing it. I'm letting him. He
yeah,
watches me. Like I said, my desk is right in our damn family room. I draw everything right in front of them, and they sit up there and watch me. You know what I mean? I'm actually
that's really cool.
gonna buy them two little desks to have right next to me. So I'm not the kind of like dad that's gonna be like, hey man, let's work on circles today. Like I'm not trying to like practice it out like that because that's not how I was taught. I was taught
Yeah.
kind of like in a natural roundabout way. Like I found interest in seeing someone drawing trees, and that's how I learned how to draw trees. And, oh, you want to learn how to do this? Okay. So when he comes to me and says, hey, I want to learn how to do this, but
Yeah.
like a lot, he's a very abstract minded person that I'm not. I'm like, yo, I'm kind of learning from him. So I'm like,
Mm.
I kind of don't want to. I don't want to be that guy to do that. I
Yeah, it
watched.
seems like the
Huh?
trick is staying it seems like the trick is staying hungry. Like, if you're looking for help and you're like actually into it, most people are generally pretty helpful, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I just into it, man. I mean, I don't know. I watched the Art Crumb documentary, man, and he was like coming down on his son. His son's gone. His son passed at a young age, but his son
Yeah.
was like doing like hyper realism and shit that was out of this world, man. But he was like so hard on his son. His daughter's still around. She's an artist too. But man, he was so hard on his son about shit. And I was like, damn, dude. His son was like just trying to impress his dad. His son was like a teenager in the documentary. But his
Yeah.
son's artwork was like on some crazy hyperrealism, dude. And Art
Hmm.
Crumb was not for it. He was just like, anybody can do hyperrealism, dude. Like, you just fucking taking a picture and drawing it. You
That's
know what I mean?
wild.
Um, yeah,
That's
yeah,
just
yeah. But he told his son that, and his son's like 15, and his son like looks like he's just broken.
yeah.
And, and I don't remember how his son passed, man. But like I remember I'm like, damn, dude, he's so hard on his son. I was like, I can't do that shit, man.
It's crazy
Yeah,
to me that you're into hyperrealism and then you're known for like what it is that you do, which is like I don't know how to describe the style, but it's like it's just funny to me that you're like I could also do this in super high detail if you really wanted to get into it.
well, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, my style is based off of knowing like anatomy and all that. I did all that. Mac. Wait on that, all right? Please. I'm almost done. They was like, my work, if you look at like, I studied anatomy in college,
Yeah.
right? The figure drawing and figure painting and figure sculpting and all that. So, like, a lot of people, you know, because of that, I can exaggerate. Because I know how
Mm.
it looks, I can exaggerate that way. You know what I mean? I can
Yeah.
exaggerate body parts and, elongate necks and shit. You know what I mean? And that's how
That's
you
what
do
makes
it.
it
Like,
comedy though.
yeah, I mean, if you like Walt Disney, man, and his artists, they had to learn like anatomy and realism before they started doing the style they did. And
Yeah.
that I learned that at a young age on a video. Like I said, my mom constantly bought me shit like that, and I watched like how to animate and the what's it called, the impossible plausible. You ever heard of that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I learned that. I learned that shit at like 10 years old. When I learned that, I ran with it. Most of my work is all impossible shit that it can't happen in real life, but you got to
Yeah.
draw it in a way where it's fun. You know what I mean? And I still
It's like
use it.
do you think about stuff like appeal that like character animators and stuff do when they're doing their artwork? You
A
know,
little bit.
talking
All right.
about like
Yeah.
like do you have to spend a lot of time trying to get the expressions right because your character animation is so deep like you know exactly what their emotion is when you're looking at it. So is it just something that comes naturally to you?
No, that came from my background in school, man. That came
Yeah,
from. Yeah, I be telling people, man, like a lot of this shit is from going to college.
that's what's
Like
up.
we had man, I had this professor named John Trevino. He hated my guts. I loved him, and I mean, really, he did, dude. Because I just was. I mean, he was a white guy who wanted to be black. That's just flat out what it is,
Yeah.
right? And he really was, dude. But so because of that, he had to have a certain kind of bravado to him. You know what I mean? And I was just goofing off of him all the damn time, dude. And I got a sick mind. He never opened up, man. His shadow was in front of him.
Unfortunately.
He never opened up, dude. He never did, man. He never opened up. He ended up quitting. Um, and then he came back when I was a senior and just was like still not fucking with me. Anyways, we did a class. He was an awesome drawing teacher though. Oh man, awesome. We did a class. I mean, we did a week on expressions, facial expressions, and that
Yeah.
taught me that. That
Hmm.
flat out. And like he even noticed that he was like, okay, you're doing your realism. Now do your cartoon shit. Do your
Wow.
expressionistic shit that you do. Do that bullshit because I know you want to do it. I would do it all on one paper and like draw it. We did it with hand gestures, just like the Mickey Mouse hands. I did like
Yeah.
actual hands, and then I did my cartoon hands because he was
Hmm.
like, "You're gonna do that because you're gonna do that anyway, so just do it." You know what I mean? He hated like drew comics in class real fast and made fun of him and stuff. But then he realized he just was like, all right, he's gonna do that shit anyway. I might as well just put it into the curriculum with him because I came in drawing hyperrealism. But so my professors, they was just like, okay, this dude, we don't have to teach him nothing about hyperrealism. He can do it. We just need to make sure he's confident in the shit that he wants to do, and that's what
Yeah.
happened. That's what they did. They was like, okay, he needs to do his shit. You know
It's
what I mean?
crazy that you stress the importance of like higher education so much because like I know a lot of artists don't go that route or they don't think that the school is what taught them how to draw. And I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but you definitely like you pay it respect. Like you know what
Yeah,
where its place is. What
yeah,
are
that's very true, man. I give my reverence to my professors that taught me, man. And six of them that held me down, and they knew what the fuck they were doing when it came to me. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I give a lot of credit to them.
What do you think you want to impart with your work going forward? Like what do you think that the world needs more of that you want to supply them?
Man, we need more analog, man. We need more books.
Oh
Like
yeah?
I mean, I love the digital stuff, but I want to make more books. I want to make more tangible things. I want people to experience my work in a larger scale. Because like I said, I mean the drawings and stuff, all that stuff on Instagram is fun, but I tell people eventually I want to just do you know big shows and like show people in large scales, in large scale work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
And
not
more so,
murals.
and not, man, murals and murals, but like I'm saying, like sculpture and doing books and writing stuff and like having more fun and having tangible things. And if you got it, you got it. If you didn't, you have to find some way to get it. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
acquire things, and it's not so money driven. You know what I mean? It's more so like hey, I acquired this somehow. I did a trade off, like some like I'm like I want to be like Jack Sparrow, man. Like like it's like how pirates are. It's not it's money, but it's like hold on, you got something that's better than money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what the world needs to get off the dollar and get on get on the head and like and create things that's worth more, and it's like priceless things that we can obtain somehow. You know what I mean? I
Dude,
love that
I'm
kind of shit.
I'm right there with you. I think like money is kind of it's a waste for most people.
It's a waste, man. That's why I love like collecting, like I collect stuff and like having even with my shirts now, like people who are because I'm doing them in time. Like I seen one of my shirts. Somebody had one of my shirts on. I was at Ragorama in Little 5 Points. It's when I made fun of Virgil Abloh, and then he was like, "Man, you can never print this shirt again. You know that, right? Because he's dead." I was like, "I know. That's crazy." He was like,
That's
"This shirt's priceless." He was like,
it's
"This shirt is
priceless.
priceless." Like you made fun of Virgil, and now he's dead, and you could never print this again. I was like, "Well, guess what? It's still in print. You can still order that shit on my site."
Right? What is what do you have a favorite piece of clothing on your site or a high seller or something like
Uh, man, my highest seller is when the Braves won the World Series.
yeah.
Yeah, I made two
Yeah,
shirts
I
for
know
them.
that one.
Oh yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah, I sold 2,000 some odd shirts. It was ridiculous.
Damn, all
I'm
right.
still, I gotta go to I gotta go see my CPA, man. I gotta fix my taxes for 2021 because it's ridiculous. I'm still
Get
trying to
that
fix
shit
some
taken
shit.
care of, man. Like damn.
Yeah, I'm going on, dude. I'm going on the night. Oh shit! I was supposed to go to that meeting on the ninth. That's what I got to do on the ninth. My dumb ass. All right, you see, you talking to me. Help me, cause I don't write
See,
nothing down. Yeah.
Man, I got 1,000 more questions I could ask you because like there's so many business related things to get into, but I'll let you go. I know you're busy right now, but
I mean, it's all good, man. We can pick back up, but yeah, business stuff that's boring stuff, man.
it's boring. But that's what people need to know is like all that stuff is vital to like just keeping it going. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I
But,
don't
I
know.
mean, but I'm mostly flying by the seat of my pants with most of this shit, too. Real talk, dude. I get commissions constantly because of just people wanting to get shit from me, but then I get commissions also because people are seriously like brands like Red Bull are like, okay, we need your ass. We know your worth. We know you need we need you more than you need us sometimes. And like
Yeah,
they don't hate to say that shit, but they have to say it. They're like, damn, we got to pay them. I want more respect and I want credit sometimes even more than payment. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like that shit's real too. I want respect and I want credit. That's big. That's something I'm real big on.
yeah.
The money,
Well,
the money's good, but man, like I want the credit. Because at the
yeah,
end of the day, like the money's just the money, man. I'm just gonna, I'm paying a mortgage and it's gone. You know what I mean? And
yeah. I
then
got you.
the shit lasts longer. It's just gonna last longer.
Well,
You
dude,
know.
I'm gonna go look at your artwork and I'm gonna choose a couple things to buy. But I'll let you go, and then I'm gonna text you later. But I'll let you know if we need to do this again or whatever. But thanks for coming on
Yeah.
today, man.
Yeah, dude. If you make an order, man, let me know and let me know when you do it. Well, I'll see it. I'll add some stuff on there, man.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I'll put it
I use
together.
for the t-shirts and all that shit, man. I use a fulfillment company just printing
I
DTG, man.
saw I saw some posters that I really wanted, man. I'm probably gonna buy the
I,
trauma by Community West thing.
oh yeah. See, I print and those are just 8 point. I can print you a big poster if you want, because I
Oh
got I
yeah.
got all that stuff. I print all that shit at home on a fucking on my laser printer, man.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll connect on after the
it's
pod, and
super
I'll
DIY.
tell you what I've got.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, just text me when you do it.
All right, sounds good. See you, Rico.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
See you. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.